About 15 hours after this YouTube channel hit 100,000 subscribers, my Arcimoto FUV hit another milestone of 20,000 miles. There aren't many that have had that much driving done on them. And since I haven't talked about owning the FUV since a 6,000 mile date, I thought I'd talk about some of the issues that have cropped up and compare them to owning a gasoline motorcycle. One issue you see there is the brake failure light. There's a reed switch in the hydraulic brake pedal that is very temperature sensitive, so unless the temperature is cold, that light comes on for no particular reason. That's not really an issue. You can adjust it if you really have to, but it's not that big a deal. I am on my third left tire. My FUV for some reason has camber in the left wheel, and it causes unnecessary wear on the inside shoulder. So every 10,000 miles I'm having to replace the tire. I'm on my second right side tire. I had a headlight go out, not a big deal at 20,000 miles. You kind of expect that. I replaced them with LEDs that have like fans in them, so you can kind of hear these fans turning. The headlights was actually a standard size bulb, and it's actually easier to change than on a motorcycle, because when you take this panel off, it's just straight down. You can actually see what you're doing, whereas on a motorcycle, you're kind of doing it all by feel, so that was actually quite nice. Also, I'm still on the original brakes in the front for 20,000 miles, despite how small these brakes are. They're designed for like a Cushman Titan, I think, a little transporter like you see pit crews use. Not really meant for a 80-mile-per-hour highway vehicle. But that's the thing about electric vehicles. There's a fallacy out there that, electric vehicles use more brakes and make more brake dust because they don't have engine braking. Yeah, well, two things there. Unless you're driving a manual transmission, you're not really getting much engine braking. But two, electric vehicles have regen, and regen doesn't use the brake pads. So the brake pads are pretty much just used to hold the vehicle at a stop, or for emergency braking. You generally don't use the brakes at all, so the brake pads are almost never used. So the brake pads are still in great shape after 20,000 miles. In the front, the rear is another story. That's mainly because I ride in harsh winter climates. If you see here, that's the sliding system there. It's kind of covered in gunk. I need to clean it again, actually. It is not shrouded. So particularly when it snows, you get gunk in there, and it can cause the brake to not release all the way, and cause it to rub more than normal. The brakes do rub slightly. That's a normal operation. So I am on my third brake rotor, and third set of rear brake pads. So that's been an issue, mainly because of because I'm a maniac and drive this thing in the snow. There is regular maintenance you have to do. You see a little cable here. When that arm gets close to the stopper on the left, you have to adjust the brake cable. This is the parking brake cable. It takes about a minute. Take that bolt off, pull the arm off, turn the spline, put it all back together, you're done. So that's not a big deal at all. It's been raining in here, so everything's kind of dirty. Otherwise, let's see. Have I had any? Fender brackets. I'm still on my original fender bracket on the left side. Other people who have 20,000 miles on their FUVs, there's about, I think maybe 10 of us now, they report they've had like 7 bracket failures on these fender brackets that hold these fenders on. I've only had a break on this side. You can see remnants of oil changes from my gasoline motorcycles. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Very happy not to have to deal with engine changes and change chain lube and rebuilding a clutch and all that nonsense. But the fender bracket, that is a known weak point of the FUV. So I had to take the fender off. You have to cut like a zip tie off and peel it off, and you can take all the bolts off from the inside. And just took it to a welder and had it repaired and reinforced. So that's been good since. The one on the left wobbles a lot more now that it's not reinforced, but it's still holding on just fine. I can't move it with my hands, so it's still in good shape. I don't know why I've been so lucky on that. There has been a big issue that I encountered, which also all FUVs deal with at some point. Another one near me had it happen about 6,000 miles for me. It happened about 17 or 18,000, and that is this little guy. that little guy there. That is the onboard charging unit, which is behind all the high voltage stuff back here. The onboard charger fails every once in a while on FUVs. For me, it was just before 3 years, so Arcimoto replaced it under warranty. I just had to pay for the labor of an independent tech who comes down in this area. If you're in the West Coast, like California, Oregon, Washington, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, like I am, you're pretty much in good shape to own an Arcimoto because there are 2 techs that can travel through the area regularly and do work on it for you. There's also a tech in Florida. I think there's one in New York, maybe, I'm not sure. But, certain area, parts of Florida, and then throughout the West Coast, definitely is, you're definitely in good shape to own an FUV. But yeah, you came in and swapped that out for me because that's not for the faint of heart. An issue I have not had that a lot of FUVs with high mileage have had is a throttle failure, where the potentiometer goes bad and it starts spiking the power output, and which can cause the system to just shut it down. Replacing the throttle is, the same as on a regular motorcycle. It requires a lot of strength, and I'm glad I haven't had that because I don't think I have the physical strength to replace the throttle. But otherwise, yeah, I've been in good shape. The rear tire is still the original rear tire after 20,000 miles. It still looks pretty good. So I have been really pleased. No regrets at all getting the FUV. I definitely don't miss going to gas stations. I had to take my backup motorcycle to a gas station, my first time in a gas station in 2 years, and it's like so horrible. It's like smelly, and I had to go somewhere just to refuel the vehicle. Like, how stupid is that? The thing with electric vehicles, it's like having a full tank every time you leave home. Think about it. If you had a full tank every time you left home, how often would you have to stop somewhere to refuel? Almost never. So I have 2 weekends out of the year where I take a long trip where I have to stop just for charging the vehicle. I bring a book. It's worth the trade-off of inconvenience on long trips for the convenience of all the low cost of all the local trips. And my wife goes with me like everywhere in this thing now. It's like we almost never use her car. We'll just travel out here all the time. Being a motorcyclist, I'm used to being out in the elements. So, I got these aftermarket cloth doors. I did not buy his zip-up windows to make a full enclosure. It's like, why? I've got rainproof gear. So whenever it rains or snows, I can cover it up. I put in aftermarket marker lights a little brighter there. And of course, LED headlights, which I mentioned before. You can hear them spinning away there. But otherwise, yeah, it's been quite a pleasure to have gone electric. It's pretty amazing just to think how much simpler it is to operate, and how much cheaper and how more convenient it is. This is why electric vehicle owners are so enthusiastic about their vehicles. It's like, yeah, we've been there. We've driven these, gas guzzlers before. We know how much better this is. So, yeah, I have no regrets having gotten the Arcimoto. It's been an absolute blast. It is a fun utility vehicle. That's what the FUV stands for, and it certainly does live up to its name. And hopefully, many more miles to come. I totally forgot one also issue that almost every FUV deals with, and that's the 12-volt motorcycle battery. If you ride motorcycles, you know that these lead-acid AGM batteries are pretty crappy. And the FUV is particularly sensitive. When the voltage drops, it'll throw up a 12-volt battery warning. Normally, the FUV every 45 minutes or so will connect the high voltage system to the low voltage system to keep the electronics running, because the 12-volt runs all the electronics, all the sensors, and allows you to start the vehicle, and allows you to charge the vehicle, and so forth. And but nevertheless, these old lead acid batteries, they just will start losing charge pretty quickly. So it was back 6 or 8 months after I had the vehicle, I got the 12-volt light on, and most everybody gets that light. Many people recommend doing a hard reset to get rid of the light. That's not necessarily a good idea, because when the warning light comes on, the high voltage system will connect to the 12-volt system constantly instead of only intermittently to keep you powered. Because if your 12-volt battery is completely dead and you do a reset of the system, you have no 12-volt, you will not be able to start your vehicle. A lot of new owners who don't read the manual and don't understand the concept of parasitic drain will plug in their FUV, and then it's full, and they unplug it, and they don't use it for 2 weeks, and then they go to use it, and it's dead. Because the 12-volt, the traction battery drained keeping the 12-volt running until it couldn't anymore, and then the 12-volt battery died, and there you go. Replacing the 12-volt battery with a lithium equivalent wasn't too bad. It is definitely more difficult than on other vehicles. It's behind the left panel there, but it's also behind a wiring loom. And you kind of have to get in there, twist out one bolt you can't see at all, and another bolt is obstructed by one of the roll bars. So you have to have a wobble extender, and you kind of have to twist it out while pushing aside a wiring loom and get it out of there. I ended up having to put my new battery in twice, because the first time when I put it in, I ended up pushing the ground wire out of the way, so I wasn't able to reach the grounding port. So I had to do it, take it out again, put it in again, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't a game changer or anything like that. Another silly issue that I had, that's the only one I know of who's had that, is this 12-volt accessory socket did not work. And did not know why. I don't use it, but I did test it, and it didn't work. But when I had a tech in to replace my steering arms, like I got the upgraded steering, probably 2023, yeah. Arcimoto released upgraded steering arms, so I paid to have that done. So I had him check that socket, and mine apparently was one of the first ones built that has the 12-volt cigarette lighter type socket instead of a dual USB port down there. And the person who installed it wired it like the USB ports and not the way this thing should have been wired. So that was fixed. So now it works. Again, I don't want to actually use it. There is another issue that you should know about with FUVs. You see these little reflectors I have beneath the headlights. This is because, if you look closely, the plastic is melting. These Hella headlight enclosures actually act as magnifying glasses, and they direct the sunlight on here. It actually melts the plastic of the vehicle. So it's good to have something reflective there to try to get the light away from the edges there. I need to actually add some more, because I've got some melting on the sides here a little bit. It's a little wrinkled. So that is an issue. I do have a noise when it's below about 80 degrees, or sometimes even higher. When I first start out, it sounds like there's like bearing noise or something in the axle. It goes away if I take a really, really, really long trip, and it'll stay away for a couple weeks, and then it comes back. Initially, this only happened when it was below like 20 degrees, but over time it's gotten higher and higher and higher. Not really sure what it is. It hasn't really affected anything, but it does worry me, as well as a vibration, like a hum through the handlebars and through the floorboards when I'm at highway speeds. But until there's a tech coming this way, I can say, hey, can you come feel this out, see what you think it is. I don't really have any reason to have them come all the way out here just to kind of figure out what that might be, because it's not affecting the vehicle in any way. It's been going on for over a year now, so it doesn't seem to be a big deal. That, I think, was all I forgot about. So I guess that'll be that.